All right, so a blue post just went out on the Battle for Ashenvale. This is update on the Battle for Ashenvale and layers 12/14/2023. And we're not going to read all of this. The first paragraph is essentially just an apology and explanation. I'll link this article in the description so you can go read that if you so choose. But the intent, the original intent of the Battle for Ashenvale, looking at the battle itself, it might help to prime the rest of this post with a look at how it functions under the hood. The Battle for Ashenvale cycle starts with a lead-up phase. I don't know if that means the killing of the three bosses, and then that leads up to the general. During this lead-up, there is a counter that runs behind the scenes and adds up how many PvP and PvE kills occur in the zone. Okay, so the lead-up is the percentage killed, which would go from 90% to 80% to 94% to 82% randomly. It was crazy broken. This is represented on screen with a percentage counter UI element in the top middle of your heads-up display. This element is replaced with an objective tracker showing the progress of the battle when it starts. Once the battle begins, 3 lieutenants spawn for each faction at various points on the map. Let's not forget Horde has 2 flight points. Keepers of the Grove for the Alliance and Blade Masters for the Horde, as well as a general for each faction. Now, God forbid you kill 2 of those lieutenants at the same time, because they won't even count. They won't even count towards the counter, and it'll just be bugged. So hopefully they're fixing that. For Horde, this is a Farseer. For Alliance, this is Priestess of the Moon, and they are both invulnerable and do massive damage until all of their lieutenants are killed. The objectives are simply to kill the opposing lieutenants, okay, yeah, and then kill the enemy general. What went wrong? So, on a realm with a single layer, there are very few points of failure with this system. Well, you only have to manage 1 layer. We had a few minor issues in the very early days of Season of Discovery with the base functionality of this system, and for the most part, those were quickly resolved. The issues we are seeing now are the result of a conflict between multiple different systems that are meant to load balanced server populations, as well as unintended interactions between some fixes we made earlier this week with the battle. To help organize, let's break down these issues. So number 1 is being removed from your current layer mid-battle. And this happened to me. I mean, remove from your current layer mid anything in Ashenvale would happen randomly. And actually, it happens all around the world, not just Ashenvale. Progress counter resetting back to 0, or low numbers during the lead-up phase. Yes, this was horrible. Hopefully, it's fixed. Battles becoming stalled, and the objective tracker stops responding. So what really causes this is if 2 bosses are killed at once, the objective tracker stops responding. So that's something that is happening. Being removed from your current layer mid-battle. So it explains the layering system. It's been in place since the launch of WoW Classic in 2019. When the world begins to fill on an individual layer and that layer begins reaching a critical mass, however, this is crazy happening on Crusader Strike. It's the streamer server, go figure. The system may at times try to load balance the population on that individual layer to an existing layer or a brand new layer if all others are full, which at times means moving people onto a relatively empty layer. Yeah, being layered mid-fight into a battle that hasn't even happened and dying instantly is a problem. The layer manager system does have some safeguards to prevent you from too many jarring layering incidents, such as preferring not to move people that are in a group with each other or that are in combat. Ideally, what will happen when a group is formed is that a reevaluation will happen when people leave and join, and the layer manager will attempt to get everyone onto the same layer and keep them there until they all log out. Now that becomes an issue because you have a ton of people that are layer hopping, and as the layer hop counter, the internal behind the scenes counter, goes up, it takes longer to layer each and every time. So I can see those 2 systems conflicting. Might be an issue. However, the snag we ran into with the Battle of Ashenvale is that oftentimes a great many of people are joining groups. They're using external tools like Discord to coordinate. When a player leader organizes several full raids to all congregate on one layer, that layer may hit a threshold. So that is the issue. Let's see, and there is a long explanation. Again, I will link this down in the description below. Progress resetting during the ramp up layer. Next major issue involves the ramp up period percentage counter to suddenly drop from a high percentage. So it's good that they're noting that, because that is extremely annoying. So to help with this, we made an adjustment yesterday, so that'd be 12.13, to never allow the aggregated progress percent to drop. Seems like an easy implementation. New layers who joined the pool of layers that were in the ramp up phase would just have their total progress updated to match whatever current percent progress value is displayed. I feel like that's the way it worked in the beginning before they started messing with things. It felt like the first couple times I did the battle for Ashenvale, everything worked perfectly. And then it broke, and now they're fixing what broke. I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below if you agree. Like, it felt good the first couple times. In a vacuum, this change makes sense and seems like it would help prevent that confusion. But this is really the change that led to the most pronounced issues. Okay, so they're going to be handling that by what it sounds like, putting it back to the way it was in the beginning. I mean, that's how people could down the general and then go into LFG, layer hop. The percentage would be, you know, a little bit lower, or the count would be lower on the lieutenants, and you could kill the general again and rep farm. I mean, that sounds similar. But anyways, battles becoming stalled and objective trackers not responding. So I am going to go back and read all of this, because I want to see if they specifically address the fact that when you kill two bosses, that's what triggers it. if you kill them at the same time, rather. So the change mentioned above created a situation where multiple layers could finish their battle, enter ramp up again, and start making progress very rapidly towards their next battle. Yes. However, if one or more layers did not finish their battle before the other layers in the ramp-up period finished said ramp-up period, it would cause any in-progress battles on that realm that were lagging behind to completely break. Yeah, I didn't see this happen, but that's honestly kind of hilarious, because there's so many issues going on right now. So they noticed that one as well. TLDR and path forward. So they're not noting the two bosses. Maybe, you know, maybe they will in the future. So the next set of changes we have on deck are, number one, with a hotfix tomorrow, so 12:15, we will no longer be dynamically retiring layers. This means that late at night or early in the morning, there will be more layers than are needed, and the world may feel more empty. That, honestly, I mean, that kind of sucks. I really like running around and seeing tons and tons of people. So with the hotfix 12:15, it may seem more empty late at night or early in the morning, like hardcore always feels these days. So with a hotfix tonight, we are increasing the number of kills that are needed for each layer that exists to move the overall realm percentage up. So they're increasing time between battles in hopes, I don't know. That's what this sounds like to me. They're increasing the time between battles, because when it fills to 100% on both sides, the battle starts. Now it's going to take longer to fill that. So that's great if they also, I mean, it's not great, but if they also fix the fact that you can be at 94% and then dump to 80%, I mean, it would be unbearable to have both of these going on at the same time. So within an hour or so from the time this is posted, so that's like right now, most layers should have healed themselves, but we will be watching it closely. So again, this entire post, which is extremely long, and I'm probably going to go back and read in its entirety now, will be linked in the description.